There hasn't been a ghost sighting in 30 years.
It's a ghost. Aren't you just a little bit freaked out right now?
There is something about Ghostbusters. Everything that you think is going to terrify you makes you laugh. Everything that you think is going to make you laugh scares the crap out of you.
Oh, God.
And that is what we wanted to emulate. We're going back to the techniques that they used to make the original film. Conceive of characters out of clay. When an artist molds a ghost out of clay, they can actually turn it and look at it and see how the light hits it. And it's emotional, it's physical, it's real. We all have our favorite ghost in the Ghostbusters universe. Mine, and many others, is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. There's something so iconic and wonderful about seeing him walk down the street in Manhattan. And when Gil, Ken, and I were formulating all the things we wanted to see in Ghostbusters Afterlife, one of the things we want to see the most was tiny, baby-sized mini marshmallow men.
The mini marshmallows are adorable. They're so cute.
They have to be a little bit mischievous. Jason really wanted that. They're just having a good time. They play with each other.
It's not that the mini marshmallow men are mean. They're just curious and they want to watch the world burn because it delights them.
We really wanted to give him a look of Marshmallow, more realistic, less plasticky than the original film was. The biggest challenge was to figure out how they move and how much do they stretch and squash. There was a lot of tests done, figured out their performances.
Action.
When we shot the scene, of course, we didn't have Mini Marshmallow running around, but we had actually 3D printed a Mini Marshmallow, they're like actual size, that we were placing to make sure that their framing was correct, as well as the reference from the visual effects work.
The marshmallows we're using today is the ever so famous Stay Puft brand.
These are just connected to the bag of marshmallows on the other end.
Let me see a little more movement.
Just jiggle, 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 jiggle. And finally that one pops through.
What's it like working with Stay Puft marshmallows?
Delicious, but deadly.
They're such a fun creature to play with because there's no limit of what you can do with them.
What was that? Probably a pigeon or something. Come on.
Phoebe and podcast find a ghost that we've never seen before. He has 6 arms, he's been living inside a foundry for decades, he loves to eat metal, and his name is Muncher.
Free-floating metal muncher, definitely class 5.
They decide to try and trap him, not really knowing how. Wait!
And just as a sea cucumber expels its insides, Muncher expels metal, like a Gatling gun.
In talking about Muncher, he has this fantastic physical comedy that sort of defies the volume of his mass.
This face is actually really funny. Imagine Grandpa that is eating something with this like falling skin. And we play a lot also with the mouth as well, because he's a ghost, so he has no limits, he can stretch. Because he chews on metal, he built up this metal debris in his belly, which actually moves around like a ball with marbles. When he goes through water, like in the original film, we leave slime behind, so there's always like a splat or something.
Raymond, look at this.
Ectoplasmic residue.
Bankman, get a sample of this.
It's the real thing.
When somebody blows their nose and you want to keep it?
I'd like to analyze it.
I knew that the moments between Egon and the original Ghostbusters and Egon and his family were going to be of the most important and tricky scenes I've ever directed.
When I read the script, I had goosebumps all over. Knowing that Harold Ramis is not with us anymore, I knew that that was going to be probably the biggest challenge for this film. Not only because of the technicalities involved, but because such an important moment for the film is the resolution of 30 years of story. We don't have any live cast of Harold, we don't have any body scan, so we're starting from footage from the original film. We were so lucky to have the original negative available, and we actually scanned the film at high resolution to capture, in essence, who Harold was. When we have the look of Harold in 1984, we're going to start an aging process to take it to the look that he could have had when I was in his 70s, to be the same age of the other original Ghostbusters.
I thought you might turn up.
I needed an actor in there. And so we looked to Bob Gunton.
Thank you.
You're ready. All right, let's roll sound.
He provided the performance of Egon Spengler. His physical performance, his facial performance, that was then taken and translated through a virtual character.
One of the hardest things to do in computer graphics are like digital humans. We are like very sensitive to everything in a human face, micro expression, little movement, how the shadow move, the clothes, how everything move, and it's very important to be able to maintain the body of Bob Gunton and apply that performance to Harold Ramis.
I never met him or knew him, but I think he would really love this movie.
Hey.
Or else I don't think Ivan would have wanted to make it, or any of the other guys. I think there's a good reason why all the original dudes came back.
The last thing either Jason or I wanted was to make this silly in any way. It had to be moving and stand up to his legacy. For us as his fans and his friends, and certainly to the family who loves him.